guitars, you know, with a big hollow chamber. You want to set that video up the way you like to set? Okay. Back off the volume control on a lot of these guitars. You're not losing as much volume as you are putting a muffle on it in a lot of guitars, so it's a huge difference on certain guitars. You're trying for that mellow sound. Now the picks brought back a lot of edge. Classic jazz guitar tone. It's a little veiled right now. I used to call this the lounge guitar sound, way back here, like a. Where you're behind a vocals or something, there's just practically nothing on top. Unless you have big strings, there's punch underneath the signal, the front end of the signal. And that's just what the strings would be. If you have a small string and you roll your tone all the way back. And people have experienced that. You don't get much. I wouldn't ever advocate rolling it back if you've got nines or something. Like what are on that solid body there? You got tens maybe? Or?
Tens.
Yeah.
10, 52.
Yeah, so if you took that tone control all the way off, maybe you'd notice. Well, Clapton calls the woman sound without distortion. You can't hear any girls, let alone women. It's pretty quiet. Small strings. So I think about tone and touch and all that an awful lot. I've spent too many thousands of hours on it in my life. Wish I could have some of it back, but I just had to because I was looking for certain sounds. A lot of course, where you pick makes so massively much different. And some guitars so much so. It sounds like we've changed pickups now. T-Bone Walker used to pick way down here to hear it, you know, and compared to this is very fluty sounding, you know. Very much so on some guitars. The farther the pickup is from the bridge, the more it accentuates that. So this same guitar, put into a setting like this. Everybody's heard a Beach Boys record at least once, probably. So, you know, you hear all that. I mean, what can you say? Electric guitars are very versatile beasts, especially when you have at least two pickups. Tremolo doesn't seem to be activating without the switch. You put that on, you know, pretty soon you can scroll into those Italian $300,000 sci-fi movies. Whoop, I should play with my fingers. Play with the pick for jazz, for playing rhythm like I was doing before. I scrape the strings, get a little more percussion. Not real keen on just the dry sound. It's okay, especially if you're doing it like that. It's okay. You're the only one back in the scene. There's no drums or something. It adds a little percussiveness. So I'm kind of hitting with the side of the picks, doing like that a little bit. And I notch it up a tiny bit, sometimes a lot. I was just biting into it before just to get a little bit of it. I once lost a piece of the tooth that way, so I wouldn't advocate it, but it's an old habit. I catch myself doing it and I'm not even thinking so.
You do a little file maybe?
Yeah, I usually carry some stuff that'll do a good job of making it up, but just a habit from, you know, you're watching something, you just got the pick and you're chewing on it. How's this projecting in the back? Can you hear it okay? So I think a good idea sometimes is play a little bit of stuff, maybe some blues or something, and maybe you guys will have a few questions from what you see. I'm not going to go on a big extended flight until these cats get warm up here. As the years go on, they need more warm up. I'm purposely playing a guitar with pretty big strings, 13s or 14s if memory serves, and the neck is bowed. She won't straighten out unless I put little skinnies on her, and unless we heat it, you know, but I'm not looking to put her in the shop yet. Anyway, if you play a guitar with stiff action at first, that'll certainly get your attention. Like when I'm borrowing this, I've been playing for, God knows how many, 47 years, and I still can't get that string clean. unless I press really hard, you know, on a guitar with high action. Just something about the shape of a person's finger. This is a big fat 28 round, isn't it? 26 round.
Can I ask you a question
Sure,
about
sure.
tone?
You guys scream out questions whenever you like.
If you were going to play like a set using that guitar, and I know this question can take many forms, but do you tend to get like a basic amp set up and then stick with that and then make your tonal variations just based on your guitar?
I would. If I got bored, let's say I was doing a gig once a week and I noticed that I was starting to get bored with my own playing and I was doing a solo gig or backing a singer, which I love to do, I might bring in the pod or something similar, you know, just to get lots of other things. Maybe look for some sounds that are more orchestral, that have a sound after the sound, you know, a sound that hangs in the air. It can get messy, you know, if you're playing chromatic stuff and every chord's hanging into the next one. It sounds like moving a lever on an Echoplex, but sometimes it's still more fun than the regular sound. But usually reverb and tremolo is a good start, you know. I mean, in the old days, everybody used that. It's kind of good. And reverbs on these old amps, these old black fenders are just fantastic reverb. Never needed a better reverb than that. It's not the cleanest reverb in the world, but it's got a nice tone.
Do you tend to be flat across middle, treble, and bass on your amp setting? Do you tend to be flat there? Or?
I like to hollow the middle out with big strings because you then, again, you hear the string more. Let's see if I can.
Hollow means you suppress the middle.
I suppressed the mid-range a bit, yeah. When I was younger, I did the opposite, thinking I wanted the fattest sound, and I still have fondness for it. The Charlie Christian sound that I hear when I was a kid, a lot of guitar players went for that sound. The jazz guys, that real pear-shaped sound. Let's take the groove off for a second. There's not much bit in that signal right now. It's hollowed out there. And then here's a slap of the pick on the string. So the difference between playing with thick fingers. Lost a lot of edge. If I had to project far, bring some of this back, some of this electric stuff. On the back might be too muffled, but the trouble with bringing it back on this guitar, and many electric guitars, is now it's all up, there's a lot of this. So I'd want to have an equalizer or an amp with mid-range. I use the solid-state PD sometimes. It has a lot of control of mid-range. I like that. This amp has no mid-range control outwardly. You can go inside and mess with a good amp tech, change that mid-range. Yeah, electric guitars are mostly mid-range instruments, basically. On older guitars, when you lower your volume, if your tone is back quite a ways, you lose a lot of that nasal sound. They were wired actually incorrectly, but it works to your advantage if you want a clarity or a string coming through. This one's not old enough to have that circuit. My Telecaster, which I'll get out at some point, that has, I put that circuit in there to make it sound more like a jazz guitar. I want to play some G chords together. Let's see if we're roughly in tune before I can. Could be worse. It's like a big 12-string going mad, you know? So, for playing lines, nothing beats the pick sometimes with that pop and that definition. So, we use the pick. Sound that you get with the pick is just nectar to my ears. People like that sound. You gotta see how mid-range this is. I purposely brought a contentious setup here to show you the problems you can face. Usually that comes if your equipment's great and then you still get those problems. That's the room. The acoustics of the room are giving you some nasties to work with. We'll see if we can. Of course, you can just give up and play this pickup. Everybody go home early, and then you don't have a problem. They were too loud. I was the band. I like when I'm playing gigs and people come and say, "You guys play any Bach?"
You got it.
Yeah, I love it. You guys. I'll be in the middle of the Bach piece sometimes. Something reminds me, "You guys play any Bach?" That's cool. Mr. Mandel, he knows this. Where you play makes a big difference, right, Gary? It's not loud enough right here. I'm not hitting it harder. Again, it's veiled because they'll have the engineers recording used to say, turn it wide open if you wanted that clear sound. Yeah, I like the neck pickup a lot. Just like that sound. Yeah, this would be a perfect amp to have mid-range control. So you bring the highs up. It's not helping. Bring the bass down. It's not doing it. Actually, bringing the bass all the way up will help kind of, in effect, relatively speaking, bring the mid-range down. Backed off maybe one or two numbers here, raise the amp up, because if you want that percussion, just if you want to hear the pick. If you don't, you go back to this. Now what we're hearing mostly is pickup. Downstairs, though, you can still do that little thing I was talking about where I play rhythm on the side of the pick. Slow it way down. Upstairs, it's all pickup. It's all electric guitar. Back to this to demonstrate the difference again. Playing by yourself. I mean, if there's a drummer, that's what they're doing anyway, you know, but it doesn't hurt sometimes, especially in recording sessions. It's good the way they mic you, you're getting that adds a dimension, which is great. You don't have to have a big jazz box to do it, but of course it'll sound better on a jazz box. When I say big jazz box, I mean, it's not the size I was referring to. I mean, a carved top, a loud, beautiful acoustic guitar, like that one I was playing with, that beautiful Indian red, caramel red, caramel brown. It's a beautiful guitar. Picking sideways, maybe a lot of you discovered this or not. It really gives you a certain shimmer that's gorgeous too. So let's talk about playing with the fingers now. This guitar will really set up great. You wouldn't hear that flapping when I hit it super hard. But it's not. A lot of guitars are not set up beautifully, and we love them anyway, or we get them set up if you're lucky. You gotta find a good luthier to do the job, because I'm sure lost some great guitarists to pour his head up, or repair rather.